Hello and welcome to Top 5 Monthly Models for February 2022. In this video, we will be counting down our top 5 favorite models released this month by STL creators. I'm Matthew of Matthew's List. Joining me today is Jill, my wife, and today's special guest, Lelliana.
Hello.
So, Lelliana, please, if you would, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, hello there, everybody. My name is Lelliana, and I am the creator behind the Lelanian Industrial Complex, which is what I call my sort of business side of STLs and stuff. I love making weird futuristic sci-fi robots, tanks, planes in a sort of more space communist type style. And it's something that I really found enjoyable. It's something that's really improved everything sort of in my life. And I'm more than happy to just continue doing this for everybody.
Awesome. So let's get started with number 5.
So my number 5 is a Tiefling caster by Print My Minis. I just really, when I saw this model, I kind of fell in love with it. I think her whole pose is cool, the way she's kind of standing on a rock looking out over something. I always love it when an animal companion or a familiar is included with the model so that you don't sort of forget that it's there the way that I sometimes do with my familiar. And I also really liked her clothing. I thought the design on the bracers and on the bottom part of her robe was really unique and interesting and looked like it'd be fun to paint. Plus glaives are awesome, so I really liked the nice glaive that she's holding.
More models need to have just little animal familiars on them. They just need them. It just makes it so much more lively and fun. My number 5 is this absolutely wonderful sort of mech walker thing. There are a lot of people that do this kind of walker, but this one is just such a unique take on it that I've never seen before. I just thought I had to mention it. I love pretty much everything about this. It just oozes detail. It's got all of that sort of Egyptian charm, but harkening back to sort of ancient Egypt, while at the same time being futuristic enough that it doesn't feel out of place. And I mean, of course, the gun is cool as hell. It's just got a giant gun for an arm, and I'm really about that kind of life.
I like it when people take these bigger models and go into this level of detail, because when you print it big, you can really take advantage of the details.
Exactly. It sort of scales out quite nicely if you print it at the scale it's meant to be printed at, or you sort of blow it up for a display piece. It doesn't lose any of that detail. In fact, it probably gains it from scaling up. So you can just do a lot with the model.
For my number 5, we have the Frog Abomination. I love anything frogs. Frog monsters, even better. I love the warts. I love the little tympanum ear, the spikes, the teeth, the fins, the eye. If you look at it like it's a sculpted eye and as a large model, if you're going to paint this later on, like, you don't need to be a great painter to get this to look good. You can put a wash over it and it's going to look good. So I love that aspect of it. It is a supportless mini, which Rocket Pig Games is known for. And my favorite little part is that extra arm it has right in the middle. And I'm assuming there's one on the other side. I don't actually know, but I'm assuming there's one on the other side. So I'm just imagining this big monster grabbing an adventurer, biting him in half. And then the other little arm is holding the little legs as they're kicking, waiting to eat the rest of it after it gets the first bite. So I love it. It's a great D&D type monster. And that's my number 5.
It's such a cool little sculpt as well. And I'm with you on frogs being amazing. And just, I like the way the little second arm is sort of holding his own knee as if he's trying to hold himself up.
Yeah, exactly.
It does look fun to paint. And you mentioned that sort of mediocre painters could make him look good. So I think you should print this out for me, Matthew, and I'll paint it.
I actually already have this model, so I could have this printed out by the end of the day.
All right, so this is a Scorpion Queen by Great Grimoire, and I just love everything about this model. I love all the details. That is like the coolest throne I've ever seen. And I know it's cliche, but the sexy yet evil sort of come hither villain is just a great villain type, right? For an adventure.
It's cliche for a reason.
Yes, yes. So I just thought, oh man, like this would be a great big bad for a campaign because she's sexy and evil, and has the coolest throne I've ever seen.
I like the throne as well because it obviously doesn't have a head, so it's not alive, but it really looks like it could be alive. It sort of looks like it could just get up at any time and sort of walk her around to wherever she needs to go.
Oh, it's true. That would be awesome. Like as if this, it's like a magically enchanted scorpion chair, and it's got its own little brick chair it sits on. It's a little chairception action going on here.
I absolutely adore this Phoenix by Holo Miniatures. I was looking through trying to narrow down my list for this because there's so many, and I saw this and I was just absolutely breathtaken away with it. Just all the little detail. I can't imagine how much time the creator spent working all the individual little scales and not scales, feathers, and all the little twirls on the end of the wings and the snowflakes. And it's just everything about it just oozes quality. And it's one of those things that you say, if you're not a very good painter, I feel like, a simple base coat and then a wash or something over all of those feathers, catching all the little edges would look outstanding. And I just can't wait to see eventually when people get painted versions of this.
It blows you away with all the detail. And it strikes me as like a tabletop RPG campaign. And you have some character who's a beggar or whatever, and then like later on they change form and like, oh, this is my final form, and I'm gonna save the day.
Really does give off like this is a god kind of vibes, I think.
For sure. I love giant beefy models, all the defined details, the oversized hands. I'm a real sucker for the rock scale type things. Like I don't even really know what they are, but they're like scaly rocky things he's got on his shoulders and his hips and his thighs, and I love that. And again, really good paintability. I love the little like wooden shin guard he has, because it's like they're not going to make a nice shin guard for this guy. They're just going to say, oh, here's a log, let's just make a shin guard out of that. Oh, it's a great idea. But yeah, this is a TPK potential monster, and I love monsters that you can use to pick up party members and just chuck them around, and this totally fits that bill.
It's another one of those ones that sort of I really like, because there's so much going on, and he's got little skulls around his neck, and then he's got all this mismatched armor, like he's got like a stone shield on his groin and then a weird bit of wood and then a ring on his arm and everything.
So this is the Pelletoid Scientist by Loot Studios. And this is the painted version that was painted by Marcia Georgiana. To me, it's very reminiscent of the art style of the Mass Effect video games by BioWare, specifically the Solarian scientist, Morden Solus, who's, aboard your ship. She looks sort of like a cooler female version of him. Her jacket is very cool, and she's got the headphones around her neck. Like I love everything about this model.
I mean, you're talking about her coat. I love the hex pattern that's going down the center of it. It's just such a cool little detail that just really makes everything pop. It sort of brings it all together.
Also, I'm not throwing shade here, but I'm not quite seeing where the headphones fit up on the head. Like it's great. It's a great looking detail. It's a great looking detail. And maybe she's got a Beats by Dre, promo going on, but I don't
maybe
see
they're like
how...
alien speakers and they just blast sound that way and she hears it.
That's it. That's got to be it. Maybe they're one of those ones where they turn outward. Oh, that's awesome. It's a great model.
We have one of the Void Stalkers by Mammoth Factory. And this is another one that I just saw and immediately went, wow, what an eye-catching piece that just draws you into it. It's got so much going on. There's so many different sort of types of detailing on it, from sort of his craggly chest and smooth thighs, and then all the way up to the tentacles, which are my favorite part, just all over him. It really screams to me the thing that you've been saying, which is that big bad. Like this seems to me like you defeat the boss, but actually this guy comes out and then he just kills all your party because you're a horrible DM that does that kind of thing.
Yes.
Really screams something that lives in sort of the astral plane in D&D to me. Just one of these weird eldritch, unimaginable monsters that you can't really comprehend.
Looking at this model, I want to paint it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fight against it as a player, and I want to throw it at my players as a DM. Like it just is very like attractive. Like, ooh, I want to use this model.
It's got it all.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. I love the head too. For my number 3, we have this lovely centaur from Titanforge. It's an awesome looking. I like centaurs. I love the half human or half elf and then half horse. This guy really stuck out to me because like his entire bottom half and his arms are made out of wood and vines, and it just like got me thinking. I'm like, okay, well, how did this guy get like this? Maybe he's so old that he just is becoming one with nature over time, or maybe all the centaurs in this, red leaf forest are like this, or maybe he had an Anakin Skywalker sort of accident where he just got everything cut off. Maybe he was just an elf before, and the druids all came in the forest and they're like, okay, you're a wooden horse elf guy now. But like, in all seriousness, it's a great looking model. I love how everything is like strapped in. Like he's got ropes on everything, almost like if he didn't have them, he would just kind of like gradually unwind and become part of nature again or something.
Don't forget his giant weapon there. I mean, that thing is beefy and impressive, and he looks very angry and like he's about to, decapitate somebody with that thing. And
he could be a disgruntled, druid of the forest, where if the player characters go poking their nose a little too much, he can catch some bodies with that weapon.
All right, so this one is like a hammerhead shark by Dice Heads, and I don't have all that much to say about it because it's like this. It's small and it's cute and it's angry, and that to me is like a sweet spot, right? Of just like it's this cute little tiny angry thing, right? That
it's so
it thinks
small and angry.
Yeah, it thinks it's all like scary and beefy, but we just going oh, right? So I love when minis evoke that particular emotion. He just looks so grumpy, and the whole release was these small little grumpy adorable little things. This is just my favorite one, but I mean there's some awesome other grumpy little cute things in this release.
He's so cute. Look at him. He's trying to be angry, but he's just too cute. I love him. We have this lovely Medusa from Krakens Vault, and it's another one that I saw and just thought, what a miniature. It's such a great centerpiece for either a game or a collection or just something to like paint and have on your table for, like dinner or whatever. There's so much going on, and it just oozes all of that storytelling, from the way she's shaped to the ruins to the little guys that are made out of stone. It's really a model that will test sort of your painting ability and push you to new limits, force you to try new techniques. And of course, the details on it as well. Look at all those scales. You can't easily do that. They're just so cool, and there's so many of them. And there's so much on it just for your brush to catch on and for you to really show what it is you're capable of. It's just so cool. She's also pissed, which helps.
A lot of Medusa figures they go the direction of like dozens of snakes coming out of the hair. And I really like how they went in a different direction with this. And there's just like 4 or 5. It's hard to tell what's in the back, but it's a much lower number, and it really like adds to the scary factor of the snakes. For a person that's genuinely afraid of snakes, I'm scared of this model. So
oh no,
well done on Krakens Vault. This one, it's a human ranger. The moment I saw it, it's like, this is just me 100%. This is, I love all the cloth, and I love how like they've incorporated, it's again the texture contrast between the smoothness of the pants, but then also the fur. I love when they integrate fur, and it's like good chunky sculpted fur that you can paint and you can make it look really good. And you can sculpt fur in many different ways, but this is probably my favorite.
He does really look sort of, he's another one that has that whole story. Looks like he's been out in the wilds for a long time with his sort of scavenged like fur leggings and his sort of very ramshackle looking bow and all the stitched together. Like he's had to patch things up a few times. Like he's seen some stuff, and I really like that about this model.
I like the way that there's just a sense of motion, like he's leaning, he's lining up his shot as he's, you know, getting his arrow out of his quiver, and there's just a lot of like action that's obvious with how the pose was done.
So my main project that I've been working on pretty much since I started my journey as a creator is called the Human Outreach Program. And it is a very, very particular niche that I didn't see anyone else fulfilling. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to fulfill it on my own. And what it is a full army of human auxiliaries for some Xenos faction, some commander. You know, these aliens have come in and they've disrupted the human leadership, and all the humans are like, cool, we'll fight for you. But of course, they need new vehicles for that. So it's as if the aliens gave them a whole load of new vehicles. And it's just a project that has really stretched me as a creator, which is something that I do like. I like to be pushed. I like to try new things, figure out new solutions. And so much has come from this. Like, I've never done a kit as modular as this infantry kit here. There's so many parts that I think we worked it out, props of having a partner that's got a maths degree. There's over 8,000 combinations that you could make with this. So just that one kit alone has enough for anyone to be occupied forever if that's what they want. And I'm just so excited to sort of share it with the world. We've had a lot of good stuff from my test printers and test painters, and I just cannot wait for this to sort of conclude, for people to get their models and start putting pictures everywhere. I'm just so excited for it. So excited, in fact, that I did one of the stretch goals early. This was another model of mine that I wasn't going to include in the base package because it's a bit big, but it's something that I really, really wanted to do. So I just did it, and it's quickly probably become my favorite model that I've ever made. I just love all the big chunky details on him and all the little lines for your wash to catch in. And it's another one that I'm just so excited to see people fall in love with as much as I have.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, these are great looking models. I am excited. I think your Kickstarter is in pre-release right now.
It's currently got the sort of pre-release page. I am planning to launch next week as we record this, which should be Friday the 25th of February. Maybe a little later than that, but around that time is when we're hoping to launch.
That's awesome. All right.
On to number ones.
On to number ones. What we have all been waiting for. Jill, your number one.
All right, so this is a barbarian from Avatars of War. And I really just fell in love with this model. I typically prefer for my characters to be wearing a little bit more clothing, but I gave this one a pass because she's just so cool. Like, everything about her is cool. So like, just starting with the model herself, like, that is some awesome hair. I wish my hair would do that, but it does not. But that's just great, right? I love her cloak. It just has a lot of movement to it, and it just looks great. That's a wicked axe. Like, I really like her axe. And this is just a ferocious giant cat that looks like it'll rip your head off. But I love how she's just sort of just relaxed and, reclining up against him, like, unimpressed by whatever enemy is threatening her right now. She's just kind of leaning back like, oh, what are you going to do to me and my giant death cat, So I thought she was just awesome. I would totally play her as a character. And so, yeah, I'm jealous of her hair. But yeah, so for me, this one.
Her hair's pretty rocking. I love his paws specifically. I mean, I love his sort of giant murderous paws and his big teeth. He could really, really do a number on somebody, which he's probably going to do, judging from his expression. I just saw this and I immediately knew it was number one. It's a pirate dragon. When have you ever seen a pirate dragon before? If anybody knows me, they will know that I am absolutely obsessed with dragons. So I've seen a lot, and this was just so unique to me. It just really stood out from everything else. And again, as always, all the details on the scales just blow me away. He has an eye patch on a dragon. That's so cool and so unique.
It does.
And then you've got the zombie pirate guy on the back holding up some poor sucker's head with his weird little mishmash throne made of skulls and chains. Everything about this model to me is just absolutely stunning. It's difficult to find the words because there's so much overwhelming beauty in it. I love it so much.
No, it is. It's a great model. And I like how I always like stuff that's artistic, but also like functional in the world. And I see these chains going through the nose of the dragon. It's like, if you could mount a dragon, you would do that. It's kind of like a bit, but you're keeping the mouth free for, breathing fire or whatever else you're breathing. Yeah.
He strikes me as if he breathes poison.
Yeah, I can see that. I am not going to pronounce this correctly. I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. I'm going to say it's Phyllarc Imago.
I'd probably have said that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best I got. I'm a sucker for the crab type chitinous humanoid looking things, the alien bug boys. They got their chitin armor and everything. I'm not sure what this weapon is. It could totally be a ranged or a melee or both. And then you have all these awesome head options.
For as long as I remember, as long as I've been a creator, they've been putting out so many amazing sculpts each month. And they're a creator that just has such a wide variety. They've done everything, you name it, they've done it. From sci-fi to fantasy, orcs to bears to humans to these insect things. They're just, every month you're going to get something so unique that's just really going to liven up your worlds and your campaigns. And more people should be aware of them. They're criminally underrated in my personal opinion.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Okay. Well, this concludes our top 5 monthly models for February 2022. Big thanks to our special guest, Lelliana, for joining us. Don't forget to check out Leli's upcoming Kickstarter, the LIC Human Outreach Program. And also feel free to join the Matthews List Discord, where you can get daily updates on all the monthly releases for over 150 different Patreons.
Wow, you're up to 150 now.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot. And if you liked the video and would like to see more of this type of content, let us know. And if you think future videos should be split between fantasy and sci-fi, for instance, let us know that too in the comments. We hope you've had a good time and enjoyed the video today. Thank you for watching and happy printing.
Bye.